Hello everybody, my name is William, and this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be doing an FSEconomy flight in the XCub. We'll be flying from Cascade onto Wilson Bar, through some mountains and a tiny little airstrip waiting for us at the end of it. Should be a lot of fun. The XCub is pretty entertaining, and I've been having a blast flying it. Outside of doing these videos, so I hope you all enjoy. If you do, make sure to give the video a like. It does help me out a ton. I really appreciate it, and as always, consider subscribing if you want to see more content. Let's get into it. Welcome on board the XCub, everybody. We are on the ramp here at Cascade. Like I said, we're going to just be making a short flight to Wilson Bar. Well, short as the crow flies, but we're probably going to take a little bit of a scenic route. So go ahead and get the aircraft started, and then we will get our flight started in FSEconomy afterwards. So I'm just going to hold the brakes here. Let's go ahead and put the fuel onto the left tank. Go mixture all the way in. Battery on, ignition's on. Fuel pump, we've already got our nav light on, and we can make sure the prop is clear prop, and we'll hit that starter. There we go. She is up and running. Oil pressure, get a little bit of power in here. Let's see, all this stuff is going to start climbing. Fuel pressure looks good. We'll go ahead and click the fuel pump off. Avionics master, and we'll just keep an eye on all of that stuff as we're sitting waiting. So we can see we've got a pretty awesome avionics suite in for a plane this size, and we're going to be going up to C48. I really have to zoom the map out to see it, but it's really not that far of a flight. So I'm just going to go through and get a couple things set up the way I would want in our on the avionics, and then we'll be ready to start our taxi and get on out of here once we get our flight started. Okay, it took just a little bit of fumbling around with the instruments here for me to get them sorted out, but I think we are pretty much ready to go. So we got our client open. We're going to go ahead and go to start flight. We're loading up one passenger sitting in the back seat with us today. We'll go ahead and hide that and get ready to get on our way on out of here. We'll be using runway 12 for our departure, so that is off to our right over there. We'll go ahead and start making our way on out. It's a little bit tricky to taxi one of these tail draggers, but with the synthetic vision, it does actually make it pretty easy. This is typically where you would see people kind of doing this swerve. That way they could continue seeing where they're going. It's a little bit awkward in flight sim, just because you can't. It's not very fluid with your head movements. So, but that is kind of technique we'd be going for, or maybe open your window and stick your head out if you didn't mind the prop wash or anything like that. But we're just going to continue straight ahead. We should be ready for our departure. We're going to fly in between the valleys on the way up to Wilson Bar. It should be pretty fun working our way out that direction. And it's just a 1,300 foot grass strip waiting for us once we're out there. So we'll get up to the hold short point here, and we also got to make sure we're staying on top of our fuel, switching it between the left and the right. Alright, let's go ahead and hold here. Alright, we're holding short of runway 12. Everything looks like it is clear. We're going to go ahead and put the transponder into altitude mode. Now then, let's get our strobe light on, landing light on, and we have our landing light set to pulse. just to make it a little bit easier to see for any traffic out here. Looks like we are ready to go for our departure, so let's go ahead and take the runway. Alright, taking runway 12 for a departure off to the north. Let's go ahead and go full power. Happy feet is what I've heard as far as what you're supposed to do, but we are up and off the ground. No problem. Continue flying runway heading and just climb out a little bit before we make our left turn. We're going to go about heading 030, get in between some of the valleys so we can start our flight on the way up to Wilson Bar. We're already at about 5,000 feet, so we're going to lean that mixture out just a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and do a left turn here. Set about a heading of 030, something like that. Keep coming to the left so that I'll try and find there's maybe a road or something we could follow. It might be a little bit hard to pick out. It looked more like a bunch of power lines, to be completely honest. Might be the easier thing to see. Go ahead and pull the power back a little bit more. I think this might be it over here. So we'll head over to the road right below us, and we're gonna start proceeding in across these ridge lines here. So I want to try and get, if you can see on the map, this area here and fly it all the way up instead of going all the way up and then flying in. Just save us a little bit of time if we can make it work. Just kind of flying in this area with this aircraft, I really think kind of plays to the strengths of this sim, in my opinion. We're not going to get too high or anything like that. We're just going to fly along, kind of mind our own business, stay nice and low, and enjoy the trip. Yeah, this is the road, I think. So it'd be a little bit easier, I think. It's the one thing, the power lines, they basically have a path on the map completely carved out, trees completely carved out, so it would be pretty easy to follow. But we do have this road, and this road should take us to that valley I was talking about, where we can work our way north, basically directly into Wilson Creek. I'm sorry, Wilson Bar. You can just see this road just a little bit.
500.
It is a little difficult. Kind of flying off to the side of it, but I assume it's going to kind of follow the path of least resistance through this area anyways. And if all else fails, we've got this awesome avionics suite to kind of bail us out. In fact, while we're kind of in a Pretty easy situation at the moment. Let's go ahead and zoom this in a little bit. And we will climb up a touch. So it looks like all we need to do is get through this first ridge line, really, and then it'll be a left turn up to the north on the way to Wilson Bar. And that ridgeline we're going to have to cross is right here on the map, and that is what we're seeing out the window right now. So after that, should be pretty smooth sailing. You can see the road down there. Just kind of snaking off. That's actually looks like it kind of comes to a dead end there. It should continue all the way on. It might just be a bug or something, because it looks like it's back over there again. It's a little spotty, and I think going to be tricky for us to actually follow. So we have a pretty good idea of where I'm wanting to go, so we'll just stick with that. And keep climbing up, that way we can get over this ridge. And then we will settle in once we're clear of it, and we can kind of drop in that valley and follow it all the way up. Go ahead and lean the mixture out just a touch more. We still have plenty more power if we need it, but we're just going to go ahead and keep it pulled back a little bit. Doing about 112 knots across the ground, showing about 95 indicated. Not the fastest plane in the world at all, but considering the capabilities and everything, we're moving pretty darn good. Just take a look at all of this. All these trees, beautiful mountains. Looks like some of the stuff in this area may not have the best satellite imagery, but that's okay. I think that might have been the road I was meant to follow. You can see it very vividly, so I could have been off just a little bit. It's one thing, doing this kind of flying should definitely help me brush up on that kind of stuff, and admittedly I just kind of threw this plan together
500.
pretty quickly. Look at how awesome that looks out in front of us, and we can see the valley that we're dropping into,
500.
and we're going to follow that all the way up. Once we turn up this valley, we're just going to basically follow. There should be a river almost all the way up to the north, and then if we have the option, there might be a bit of a fork that'll go kind of northwest or northeast. We just want to make sure we take the one that goes northeast, which will be a right. Other than that, we should be good to go. As we turn up into this, just check about 15 gallons and about 15, a little under 15 gallons. So we'll go ahead and click it over. Just want to make sure that we stay on top of it. So we're just now about 43.5 nautical miles. You can see this beautiful valley we've dropped into. We are going to kind of settle in, enjoy the views, have a nice relaxing flight. Some really beautiful stuff outside. I hope you guys are enjoying. Just picking up that we are about to fly over. Look at this little airstrip we're about to fly over. This is the kind of stuff we can expect out here. This is kind of flying I'm looking forward to doing as well. So just look at that little guy. Trees all around. Not a whole lot of visibility or anything. Throw a little bit of weather into the mix and this should be pretty darn interesting. It's a good size runway though for this aircraft especially, so we should be okay. I think Wilson Bar, like I think I said it already, it's about 1,300 feet long, and hopefully it's got some sort of good identifying markers. Look at how tight this is getting through here. Still absolutely beautiful stuff. We could climb up and, you know, fly over the top of these for the most part if we wanted to. I think it says that we can take this thing all the way up to something like 14,000. And in the area, it's about 9,600 feet would be safe, I believe, for the most part on this particular flight we're doing. But, you know, where's the fun in that? So we're flying the valley, one of the things I love doing the most. Either way, yeah, I just wanted to check in as we were kind of flying over that little field. And it looks really cool. This is really fun flying, in my opinion. This is what I really enjoy doing in this sim for the most part. So we're gonna go ahead and switch back over to the left. So we've made pretty decent progress up this valley. We just gotta make sure we don't take this left, kind of stay to the right in this fork coming up, which I believe is kind of separated by this big mountain right in front of us, so we're either going to go to the right of it or to the left of it. We want to make sure we go right. Other than that, it should be just fine. And yeah, it's really about all there is. I just need to be careful when I'm flying, getting some of the scenery from the outside and everything. I had put it on the autopilot and almost flew into the side of a mountain, looking at the different camera angles and stuff like that. So problems you wouldn't have, I guess, if you were doing this in real life. But anyways, we'll try and enjoy some more of the views as we continue on up. We're just about 27 nautical miles now, so really not far. And we don't have to go too far out of the way from here on to kind of make this work. This is definitely the mountain as well, separating it from the left versus the right. So we just got to find our way through, make sure we stay in this little path off to the right so we can jet all the way up. So let's stay here for a moment so we can kind of figure this out. See, this is another one. This cuts back. This little path cuts back, so it's this next one just around this. And you can see there's a nice little path there all the way back through, and we'll take this next right and continue on our way. Perfect. Yeah, we can see it opens up quite nicely around the corner here. Honestly, it doesn't even really look like much of a path off to the left until we've already committed to the right anyways, so I was a little bit worried that might get a little distracted or something and potentially make the wrong turn if I didn't have a good good sense of where we were with the avionics, but worked out in the end. So now the next thing is just this cut back to the left in the valley, which is going to be around this mountain. That should not be a problem at all. This would definitely be a place you would not want an engine failure, though, I can tell you that much. This is a little out of the way out here. Alright, so we'll cut back to the left, and then we should have a little bit of time to kind of take in the sights from the outside. We're just going to cut over the top of this little ridge line right here. See, some of the mountains in here, that's just the default mesh on that one right there. It's a little intriguing. Just don't know if maybe they just don't have a good enough quality texture or something for that one specifically. So we'll cut to the right. Once we pass this big rock, it's just crossing off our nose right now, and it should be smooth sailing all the way up to the north from there. So here we go. We'll just kind of cheat back to the right a little bit. It's getting quite bumpy in here. And there we go. We can see basically all the way up the valley now. And this should take us just maybe another couple little turns through the valley. It's going to take us all the way to Wilson Bar, so let's enjoy the views while we got a moment. and we'll be about ready to start figuring out our landing into Wilson Bar here before too long. Really gorgeous stuff on the flight. May not have been the smoothest flight. Need to get a little bit more accustomed to this kind of thing once again, especially for recording. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the views, if nothing else. It is absolutely beautiful out here. Still need to refine my settings a little bit, so hopefully we can get a nice smooth experience all the way through the flight, and keep the visual quality pretty high. There's a couple times I noticed the terrain doing some weird things, but it is what it is. It's been a really fun flight. Either way, we're just about 10 nautical miles now from Wilson Bar. The elevation is 2275, I believe is what it said. So we can actually start coming down a little bit as we're working our way in. And once we get pretty close, we're going to try and get on top of our speed as well. I know this thing can land on a really nice short runway, but we just want to... I do not completely trust myself enough with these kinds of fields, so I want to try and make sure we get the plane nice and slow. That way it is as easy for me as I can make it. Just look at how narrow this it's basically just enough for the river to flow all the way down. So yeah, so we're not going to get too low through here then. Once we cut back to the left around here, I think we'll be okay. But the last thing I want to do is cut to the left and find out that it is super narrow and I need to climb about 1,000 feet just to feel safe going through. Let's go ahead and switch the tank one more time. We'll keep it on the right the rest of the way in. Now we're just going to cut to the left here. It's pretty narrow down towards the base of this valley, so I think we're at a decent altitude for the moment. It's really narrow up here as well. Just looking at the on the synthetic vision on our screen here, this looks absolutely crazy. Does feel a little crazy doing it like we are. We're really down in this valley. We should probably be at least about 2,000 feet higher or so. And maybe that's what we'll kind of trend to in the future. I really do just like flying dead through the middle of these valleys, though. Alright, 6 nautical miles now from the field. Basically, we're going to get up here, have to turn right, and we should see the field somewhere. We got to make sure that we're going into the right one, though. There is another airstrip right up here, right by this fork in the river. Go ahead and push the mixture in just a little bit more. We can keep it a little leaned out.
500.
Not too worried about it. Let's see, hopefully it opens up here pretty soon. We can start descending a little bit more, and hopefully we can kind of see that fork in the river. Once again, this avionics suite, I mean, this is, you know, easy mode compared to doing this in something else, where, you know, your instruments are attitude indicator and a compass. That would be fun to do as well, so it's a whole different challenge. Alright, so we're flying the river. We still don't see the fork. It's probably going to be up here as we make our right. We should see the fork off to the left. That is definitely what's going on. So it forks left and it continues straight. We want to continue straight. We should see some kind of a runway. I'm going to assume that's what this is here. So this is that first airstrip that we're not too interested in. Wilson Bar, it is 6 and 2-4. We're probably going to go ahead and come in on 6. So let's go ahead and pull the power on out. And let's slow her down, get to about 70 knots. We'll put the first notch of flaps in. That way we are at least on top of our airspeed here. Alright, now we just need to keep our eyes open. There's our runway. You can see it. We're not going to land runway 6. We're going to come around for 2-4. There's trees on the edge there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overfly directly and fly over this ridge right in front of our nose, and then sweep back in, circle around, basically fly up the river and come in. So that looks a lot cleaner down there. And that's the end of 2-4. It looks like that's a much easier approach for us to make.
500.
So yeah, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to use this little bit here to kind of cut back to the left. And then we're going to do a big sweeping right-hand turn. And it's going to be a little tight, but we can drop our altitude as well. We already went down a notch on flaps. The turning circle is just fine in this thing. Go down the next notch of flaps. Talk about a roller coaster of an approach here. Alright, there's the runway. We are on final. Let's get those flaps in. Just help us slow down a little bit. I want to stomp on the brakes too hard. I do not want this thing going end over. and we'll just pull off to the right side. That was super fun, and I think we used about half the available runway length there, and I mean I was really babying it on the brakes as well. So we'll go ahead and get the client back open, and I will hit my parking brake button, and that should log our flight for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, consider giving the video a like and subscribing as always. It really does help me out, and I appreciate it. I mean, just look. This is really pretty. So, yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. It's been a blast doing this flight. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit better at these in the future. And until next time, bye bye.